Okay, class, we're starting section 2.6, problem solving in geometry. It says perimeter and area of a rectangle. For the following rectangle, label the length L, width W, and draw a representation of the perimeter. Now, what I did was I took the liberty of listing our width and our length, and it asks what is the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle. Perimeter means the distance around. So you would add the width plus the length plus the width plus the length. Now you will have two lengths and two widths. So our perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width will give us the total distance around this rectangle. Now we go to B here. It says for the following rectangle, label the length L, width W, and draw a representation of the area. Now they ask us what is the formula for the area of the rectangle. Now the width and length is still the opposite sides are equal and the opposite sides are equal. Our area is equal to the length times the width. Now we scroll down here to example 1. It says a rectangular floor has an area of 192 square feet and a length of 16 feet. Find the width of the room. So we have area is equal to length times width. Now it gives us the area, which is 192 square feet. And it equals to, our length is 16 feet. And we don't know what our width is. So we need to get our width by itself. So we would divide each side by 16 feet. Now 192 divided by 16 is 12. Feet squared divided by feet is feet. And it equals to, these 16 feet simplify out and you're left with the width. So your width is 12 feet. Now we go to example 2. It says a photographer plans to use 76 inches of wood to make a rectangular frame for a photo. If the width of the frame is to be 14 inches, what will its length be? So we have perimeter. Perimeter is equal to 2 lengths plus 2 widths. Because remember, when you're trying to do a rectangular frame, it actually goes on the outside of the picture. So now we have perimeter, which is 76 inches, and is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times the width is given to be 14 inches. So we will have 76 inches is equal to 2 times the length plus 2 times 14 is 28 inches. Now, we need to get the length by itself. So we will subtract 28 inches on both sides. Now we know 76 minus 28, which we're going to have to write up here because we lack space. 76 minus 28 is 48. So that gives us 48 inches. And that's equal to, we have 2 lengths, 28 minus 28 is 0. Now, we need to divide each side by 2, and 48 divided by 2 is actually 24 inches, which is equal to your length. And that is your final answer. Now, we scroll down here to the area of a trapezoid. Now it says the area of actually it's a triangle or a trapezoid. Okay, we have A. For the following triangle, label the base B and the height H. Okay, now what will happen here is this. This will be your base, which would be B, and then we will have to draw a line here to signify the height, because this is how tall the triangle is, so this would be your height. So now it says, what is the formula for the area of a triangle? Now the area of a triangle is equal to half the base times the height. Now before we go on, if we look at this triangle, this actually somewhat, if we added in these places here, and I'm not exactly the best artist, but when we add this in, this almost looks like a rectangle, and this is half of a rectangle. Your base and height is equivalent to the length and width. So what happens here is this is cut in half. So that is why we have half of the base times the height. That's how we derive the area formula for the triangle. Now we come here for B. It says for the following trapezoid, label each of the bases, capital B and lowercase b, and the height h. Now finding the height is particularly easy. We just do the same thing we did with the triangle. Just go straight down here, and this is your height. Now your base. Now remember here, your base was here, but we have a larger base and we have a smaller base. The larger base will be your capital B, and the smaller base will be your lowercase b. Now it says, what is the formula for the area of a trapezoid? The area of a trapezoid basically is written two ways. One way is half of the height times the larger base plus the smaller base. Now, or this can be written as, you could multiply this out and do a little substitution, but you could also write it like this: is half of h times a plus b. And when I said you could multiply it out, you could do 1/2 hb or 1/2 h lowercase b. That's what I meant. But you can write it like this, because in some problems they will have, instead of the larger b, they will have the lowercase a. So this is just giving you the representation of that. Now we scroll down to example 3. It says a triangle has a base of 5 feet and an area of 20 square feet. Find the triangle's height. Okay, now the area of a triangle is area is equal to half times the base times the height. So we have area is equal to 1/2. Now the base here is 5, so it'd be 5 feet. Now we don't know what the height is, so that would be h. And we also have the area, so it should be 20 is equal to 1/2 times 5 feet times the height. Now we'll put this 5 feet over 1. So we have 20 is equal to 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 1 is 2. And that equals to your height. No, actually that's multiplied to your height. Let me take this off here. Okay. And this is supposed to be multiplied to your height, not equal to the height. Okay, and we'll put this over 1. Now, we will have 20 is equal to 5h over 2. Now, we need to get rid of this 5/2. Now, to get rid of 5/2, we can multiply both sides by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 5/2 is 2/5. Now we could put this 20 over 1. 2 times 20 is 40. And 5 times 1 is 5. And it equals 2. These 5's will simplify out, and these 2's will simplify out. And you will have h. 40 divided by 5 is 8. So it'll be 8 feet is equal to your height. Now, one other thing that I left out here. When we substituted in 20, we were supposed to put, I'll just X this out here. We were supposed to put 20 feet squared, just to notate the units of operation here. Now, we scroll down here to example 4. It says, find the area of the trapezoid shown below. Now, we must remember the area formula for the trapezoid. Area is equal to half times h times the parenthesis. We could put a plus b or capital B plus lowercase b. Either one is fine. So we have the area is equal to 1/2. The height is 24 millimeters. Because if you notice here, going from here to here is 24 millimeters, which is the same as here. Okay, now we have to get to our B, our capital B, and our lowercase b. Our bigger base is 28 millimeters. Our smaller base is 18 millimeters. And now we add what's in parentheses. We have half times 24 millimeters times 28 plus 18 is 46 millimeters. Now we have the area is equal to, we know half of 24 is 12. So we could take 12 millimeters times 46 millimeters. Now 12 millimeters times 46 millimeters will give you an area of 552 millimeters squared. Now we scroll down here to circumference and area of a circle. Now it says objective 2. Solve problems using formulas for a circle's area and circumference. Circumference and area of a circle. For the following circle, label the radius r and diameter d and draw a representation of the circumference. Now first of all, we have to understand what the diameter and the radius is. The first thing, the diameter, it goes through the center of the circle and it goes from one end of the circle all the way to the other end of the circle. And typically it cuts the circle in half, but there are situations where it doesn't look like it's cut in half. But that is what the diameter is supposed to do. So this is the diameter here. This long line here that goes right through the center of the circle from one end to the other. So this is the diameter. Now the radius is half of the diameter. It goes to the center of the circle and goes to one end of the circle. So right here is your radius. Okay, now it says, what is the formula for the circumference of the circle? Now the circumference is a fancy way of saying the perimeter of a circle. So remember, whenever you see circumference, that just means the perimeter of a circle. So the circumference is 2 times pi times the radius. Or the circumference is pi times the diameter. Now the reason why both of these work is because we know double the radius will give you the diameter. So we have 2 times r, which would give you the diameter. And we know with the associative property of multiplication, or actually it's the commutative property of multiplication, that it doesn't matter the order that the problem is in, the factors are in. So if you said 2 times pi times r, or if you did 2r times pi, you still will get the same answer. And we know 2 times the radius will give us the diameter. Okay, now we scroll down here to B. It says, for the following circle, label the radius r and diameter d and draw a representation of the area. What is the formula for the area of the circle? Now we already did the diameter and we also did the radius. Okay, so now the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. Now you do not use the diameter here. The only thing you would do with the diameter, you would have to find the radius by taking half of it. But as far as the formula is concerned, it does not have a diameter feature of the formula. So this is your formula for the area of the circle. Now we scroll down to example 5. It says, find the circumference and area of the circle. Express answers in terms of pi, and then round answers to the nearest whole number. So you will have the circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. The circumference is equal to 4 pi centimeters, because we know our denominator is 4 centimeters. So now 4 pi centimeters, this will be your first answer because this is in terms of pi. Now we're going to go on and show this, and we're going to round this to the nearest whole number. So we would take the circumference is equal to 4 times, the pi is 3.14 as an approximation, centimeters. So we have C is an approximation. 4 times 3.14 is 12.56 centimeters. And that will be your circumference. and then we will start our area.